What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Aging Potheads. I am your boy, the Funky Monk, aka Big Brother Boss. And with me tonight is the super producer, Tony. Toki and
What's up,
Tony.
man?
What's up, Tony?
What's up, man?
Oh, not too much, not too much. Everybody go ahead and take this time to pick up your phone and go ahead and share this video with your folks. If I can find it. There we go.
Good job.
Go ahead and hit that share button and then come around with us. Man, how is everybody doing tonight? I am doing all right. And let's go ahead here, y'all. Oh, excuse me. And before we get started, we got a blaze.
I got an issue, two issues.
What's up?
One, whenever I hit the share button, my wife still doesn't let me share her. Two, I got this. Hold on. This. And infused pre-roll. I don't know what to smoke.
Hey, smoke one of them, man. Got to grab one of them.
Let's see. I put down that I'll be reviewing the Dole Whip, so we'll go with that.
Right on. All right. Let's go ahead and blaze, y'all.
Oh,
yeah. Excuse me. Man.
You know what I hate about smoking pipes is when you smoke and you forget to clear out the stuff in the middle and hit the back of your throat when you smoke. Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's
horrible. That is horrible.
Yeah.
But the trash I am smoking tonight, y'all, is called Miracle Fruit. It was so trash that during our pre-production, I forgot what the name of the shit was. And it's a hybrid. They say it's more of a 50-50 hybrid. I got it from Green Dispensary. Definitely, y'all. I didn't like it. It takes too long to come on. So the high comes, and then when it comes, it doesn't even stay for too long. You almost don't know if you high or not. I sort of described it as like I was smoking, and then mentally I felt high because, I had been smoking, but I realized I'm not high. It's weird to describe, but yeah, that's what pretty much happened. I gave it 2.5 blunts. It does have a good taste. When the high does get there, it's actually okay, but it doesn't stay long. And I bought an eighth of it. I ended up going through the whole eighth in about 4 hours.
Oh shit!
And then when I looked at it, it's actually testing at like 15%. So 15% ain't shit to a guy who smokes like I do. So for those who are looking for the more therapeutic side of cannabis, this might be a good brand for you. Might even be good for beginners. Because if you've never smoked, this will probably get you high. But if you are an everyday smoker, I wouldn't suggest it. I can't even use this to chase another strain. If y'all know what chasing is, basically, I'll start off with a nice strain, and then I'll as that strain gets to its point, as it starts to come down, I'll smoke a less stronger strain, just to chase that high. So that's what I mean by chasing. I don't know if everybody does that. It's what I do. I normally smoke a nice, good thing in the morning and then use something else to go throughout the day. But for those who are beginners, this might be a good thing. But like I said, I gave it 2.5 blunts. It's trash. I wouldn't buy it myself again. Green is normally pretty good, but they missed with this one. Don't blame the dispensary. I blame the farm. And also, y'all, this is why you stay away from the sales stuff.
That's not always true.
Yeah.
I think it depends on, you got to do your research on the farm and what's on sale. I've had some really good sell stuff that felt like it was more medium shelf, like mid grade, than it was
Uh-huh.
low grade. And it was
Hmm.
actually even almost as high as 30 something percent, even on sale. So,
Hmm.
I think it kind of depends because even the
Yeah.
Dole Whip I got a half ounce of it
Yeah.
for $60 over at the dispensary on Decatur.
Okay.
And it was about 23% THC, so not too bad.
Yeah. 23 is cool.
Right.
Anything 19 and up, I think it'd be pretty decent. You get down to 15, I mean, come on now, y'all. It's good for some smokers, not good for me. It felt like that strain that they try to push on tourists when they come in. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, we can get you a half for $50, and it's like, of course, because a person like me who's an avid smoker, I gotta smoke the whole half to get high. But
But
anyway, y'all,
that's what they bank on. Because then once an average smoker like yourself buys that and they're visiting Vegas, they're going to blow
mhm,
right through it and come back and buy more.
yeah,
So that's what they're
for
banking
real,
on.
for real. Let us know what you're smoking in the comments. If you smoke miracle fruit, let me tell you. Let us know how you felt on it. Okay, Tony, what did you smoking? What are you smoking again?
It's called Dole Whip. It's basically a hybrid. I
Hmm.
cannot remember the farm I got it, but it was over at
Hmm.
the dispensary on Decatur.
Yeah.
Road Tripper with the farm. Have you ever had them
Okay.
yet?
No.
Okay, so Road Tripper is actually pretty decent stuff. I
Hmm.
wouldn't say it's like high grade or anything, but for me, this Dole Trip being the hybrid it is also more sativa lenient, which I like
Okay.
my sativa, but I have to have hybrid overall when I'm not doing much, like if I'm just sitting at a desk. Otherwise, sativa for me, to put it in terms for people to understand, is like pure
Hmm.
caffeine to me. If I'm not moving
Okay.
around, I'll get very agitated. My heart will race, all that stuff. So
Hmm.
there was a good balance between, the whole sativa and indica. I think it
Yeah.
really worked out well for me.
Hmm.
Overall, though, I will be honest, between the flavor and the high not lasting as long as I would like, I went ahead and
Yeah.
gave that one about a 3.5 myself.
Okay. All right. So it's decent. Just
Just not strong enough, doesn't last long enough.
mhm. I get that. I get that. Let us know what y'all smoking on. Let us know where you're watching us from. The strain of the week this week, y'all, is the dang. What did I pick this week? Papaya Waska. It
Yeah,
is
that's it.
a hybrid, and not to be mistaken with the real Papaya Waska. Um, However, if you get this strain in a good batch, and when I talk about good, it should be 24 to 28, okay, percent. So that means you got to be a pretty good smoker. If you knew, this is gonna fuck you up. Um, but papaya waska normally it leans sativa, but if you overdo it, it will have some sedative effects and knock you down. Now, when you come to in in difference to the papaya huasca, which is a natural herb from I want to say South America, but anyway, but papaya huasca is our strain of the week. It should be at most dispensaries. It is a common strain. Don't get it mixed up with papaya something. It is papaya huasca. Um, and if you see it, you'll know what it is. So definitely go out if you smoke it. Let us know how it felt to you. I haven't had it in a while, but it came up on a list when I was getting that trashy miracle fruit.
Hmm.
But I didn't pick it up that day. But If they have it next time, I'll probably go pick it up. Go ahead.
Hit up the dispensary you got it from. Tell them that you have a new name for that strain. Say
Mm-hmm.
it's Miracle Trash.
Exactly. Miracle Trash.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell you the truth, I had it. I just didn't know what damn, my bag is over there, so I can't reach it. I forgot what farm it is, but I don't think I'll trust going to that farm anymore. The cultivator. I just didn't do nothing to me. But that was the strain of the week. I'm gonna start off with the dumb shit first, and then we go move to where we're going. Um, this week, Donald Trump took to stand in his fraud case in New York in front of the judge that will ultimately decide what his penalty will be. I believe this is a civil case and not a criminal case, if I'm not mistaken. But during this trial, first, the reason there's a judge is that due to a paperwork snafu, the former president thought he was going to get a jury, but actually it's the judge. Now, what has been happening is that Trump has been going back and forth with the judge, antagonizing the judge, and being very hostile towards the judge. Almost like, to me, he is, according to what lawyers have said, this is something that the defense will allow their client to do when they really know they can't really win the case. And I see it another way, because everybody's asking what Trump is up to. He is still playing this persecution. He feels he's being persecuted, and he feels it's all political. Political to me is getting charged for a felony when you jaywalk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they have it out for you. This, I would say, I can say it was partly political, but let's be clear, he broke the law, and it was proven he broke the law. And being investigated, you're the president, you're out there, and you flaunt the law. He's been flaunting the law for years now, even before he was president. So
I was about to say that because I did a paper on him in college. This dude should have been locked up a long time ago.
Yeah. And this is what happened, y'all. And I'm going to say this because you can go through the history. Google is free. And I'm not saying this because I don't like Republicans. I don't like Trump. Never liked Trump. Those who are our age, the Gen X, we don't like Trump for many reasons. And it has nothing to do with how he's been acting the last 8 years. It has to do with his character. What Trump did, if y'all, I think in this fraud case, was he overvalued his assets and then claimed a loss at the end of the year. So if y'all don't understand, let me break it down for you. If Tony gave me an apple and they said, well, you got to claim, I said, this apple is $1 million apple. And so with that $1 million apple, I'm able to go to bank 1, bank A, bank B, bank C, and get a loan because they say this apple is worth $1 million. So now I got all these loans coming in because my apple is worth $1 million. Now come to the end of the year when I'm ready to file my taxes, I tell the IRS that this apple is only worth $200,000, and then I claim a loss of $800,000. Okay, it sounds weird because you would think that the IRS would know. And let's be clear, Trump's father did this. Trump has done this. Donald Jr. has tried it, but this is when they buckle down. Now, let me tell you something, folks. I don't see the politics in this. I can see where some people might say that, but he wasn't set up. He knew he did it. And what has happened here, y'all, is Trump put a lot of judges in there. So when you vote for president, y'all, you shouldn't think about the actual person. You should think about all the federal judges that have lifetime appointments that he gave them to, and that these judges will be on the stand in the next election. Once again, Google is free. Not going to get into it with y'all. But he's coming up against judges because judges are assigned randomly. So he's coming up against what people feel are liberal Democratic judges. But what we're also learning in the case in Georgia, is there's a Republican judge on there. You know, you can always say you're doing somebody a favor to get them in office, but you got to understand, and I'm glad that some of these judges, even though he appointed him, they're just coming out and telling him no. And let me tell you why. Because certain things can be talked away, but a judge is supposed to be impartial. A judge is supposed to interpret the law and then apply the law. And to tell you the truth, I don't think the judge interprets the law. That's up to the Supreme Court to interpret law, actual law. A judge is just supposed to use. Does a judge interpret the law, or do they basically apply the law?
They apply the law, as far as I know. Because the Supreme Court is the one that basically decides every law that gets passed or not in the long run when it comes to that. But in the end,
if it comes to
the judge has to enforce it, kind of like a police officer enforces the basic codes of the law that you violate, that you get tickets for. The judges imposes it all the way around, where they do the sentence and so forth. But the Supreme Court is the only one that actually appoints the law.
Yeah, and actually can strike down laws. But anyway, y'all, I believe he's trying to set up to say he was persecuted. I believe they're trying to set up something for a mistrial, as well as file an appeal saying that the judge was against him from the jump. There aren't any cameras allowed in here, so I'm only going by what has been posted on most news outlets. It sounds like Trump is trying to paint this judge another way, and it's very indicative of the way the Trump machine works. He's just going to throw something out there, and what he's saying in court is basically sound bites for people to run with. So you got these dumbasses, and I'm gonna call them dumbasses, who are gonna believe whatever Trump says, and it doesn't matter what the courts say. They're accusing the judge and the court clerk of doing dumb shit. I'm like, what the fuck? It's not the circus that Trump wants it to be, so he's probably in there acting like a 3-year-old child. We'll keep you posted on how that's supposed to be going. But anyway, in the fraud case, this is not a criminal case. This is a civil case. And the judge will decide whether Trump can do business in New York, the state of New York, which is where most of his properties are. Me and Tony, go ahead.
I got to point something out because you bringing up the whole New York thing and everything.
Yes.
You know, when 9/11 happened, he collected money on that fund as well, right?
Yeah, I know he did.
There. Now, I get that he had the right to. I do. I have to question, can we go back and look at what he reported and was it really worth that estimate as well? That's what I want to know.
I can tell you, based on his history, it definitely wasn't worth what he claimed it to be worth. And let's be clear, y'all. The reason a lot of folks want Donald Trump to be clear is that Donald Trump is about to expose a lot of things that have occurred. And Donald Trump is just one man, and they don't do it just for him. They do it for a lot of folks who have a lot of money. When you start to look about everything that's going on, Trump definitely isn't worth as much as he says he's worth.
He never was. Dude, back when I did the paper on him in college, if every loan pulled out on him and so forth, actually in
Yeah.
debt by millions.
Well, he's going to do what he always does and file bankruptcy.
Of course.
He'll always use the law, but people might get to the point to where him filing bankruptcy might be seen as him trying to escape debt, and then that's illegal.
It's highly illegal. I think it depends on if you go for a 7 or 13, chapter
Yeah,
7 or 13. My
yeah,
whole entire thing is irregardless. Like Wayne
hmm
Newton, the guy from here in Vegas, Mr. Vegas, he
hmm
filed for bankruptcy a few years back, but was still in that
hmm
mansion for how long? Yeah, I don't buy it.
yeah. So this happens a lot. So what this will do is this will expose a lot of these banks saying they're giving him money without really getting a proper valuation of what Trump is claiming is his assets. And this is indicative of what his father has done, what he has done over the years. So,
Hmm.
like I said, y'all, Google is free. We'll keep you posted on what's going on in this Trump case. We're going to move on to another federal issue that's going on right now. Is that the bank system for direct deposit, which is a federal clearinghouse, um, ACH. Most of y'all call it ACH. We call it direct deposit. For some folks, there was a human. The Fed claims there was a human error, and this caused about 1% of those on direct deposit to have a delay in their deposits to their respective banks. This just wasn't a one bank issue. This was an every bank issue, folks. I'm gonna get a little conspiracy theorist here. Start stocking up on food, money, resources, because we're talking about 1%, and you got to understand 1% of almost 300 million people is a lot of people. So I don't care whether you're throwing 1% out here. Some people live paycheck to paycheck. Some people have mortgages to pay. And not only were they not getting their money, and some of these banks couldn't even process their mortgage payments. I was at the bank the other day, and they were doing shit on paper. Normally, I'm working on this little tablet they have next to the thing. You've seen them when you go to the bank, right?
Hmm.
They tell you to swipe your card, opens your account. That wasn't even working. They were doing all this shit by hand the other day. So I guess this is what it was going. But what the Fed is asking banks to assist their customers. Don't let your bank fool you, folks. I'm going to tell you this now. The bank sees that deposit.
Hmm.
They just did not receive it. Now, some people, if you work with one of these banks, and most banks do it now, they say they give you your paycheck 2 days early. So some people got paid. But what's really happening now, and then this is why I'm saying it's the ACH system, is just imagine that you use the ACH system to pay your mortgage. That didn't go through last Friday. The bank knows it's there. The other side knows it's there, but due to this error, it got messed up. So if you are affected by it, let us know. Let us know how you feel about it. What do you think about it, Tony?
Hmm.
I'm sorry, I caught you
I'm
eating.
sorry. No, I'm trying to eat dinner because I didn't eat all day. But I'm done. You know that I've had a trust fund when I was growing up, right?
Uh-huh.
So you know that I've been around banking most of my life, probably more than most people my age would ever even be around banks.
Mm-hmm.
I've also worked for Bank of America's fraud department, remember?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with you on the conspiracy theory situation.
Mm-hmm.
For one, it's election time.
Yeah.
Some tell me somewhere, somehow, just like what we were talking about political stuff, someone trying to make Biden look worse before the election time. Two,
Yes.
look at what happened with the fire in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
How many people, how much you want to bet out of that 300 million, which by the way is about roughly 3 million at 1%,
Mm-hmm.
out of the 3 million people, how many were close to defaulting on their loans? Like to the
Exactly.
point of foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to go, oh, we didn't receive it in time.
Yeah.
So I
And
think between real estate, election year, and
mhm.
I just into some kind of conspiracy theory. I just don't see and including logically about computers and how they work, I just don't foresee there being anything more than some kind of conspiracy. The question is, who are the conspiring against? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because I don't foresee this actually happening. Banks can crash. Don't get me wrong. I know they can. But this, and only crashing like that much, where the 3 million people that were affected are people who are living paycheck to paycheck, close to foreclosure, maybe even close to being arrested because they didn't pay child support on time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think that something's a little screwy there. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. And the Fed is telling banks to assist customers. I can't believe banks are telling customers they have no money when they can see the money's there. You know what I mean? I understand what's going on.
That's the funny part. That's the funny part. Why would they have to tell the banks that if the banks can see it and so forth? That makes me believe that the feds are behind something and that the banks may or may not actually really see things. That's me.
Yeah. And they said it was human error. This system, you know the system. I think the system runs pretty automatic. I mean, you remember back in the 80s where nobody trusted direct deposit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now it's all everybody does. And the reason being is because direct deposit, y'all, goes through the ACA system, which is a federal thing. I don't know why. I don't know why the Fed, and they make us pay taxes at the end of the year when they already know how much we made.
Now, what's up with that new federal government payment gateway that's coming up? Do you know about that one?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's probably what the problem is here.
That's what I was about to say. Maybe they tried to put that into the system and somehow it got screwy. That'd be the only logical, technical thing I can see happening. And I can see an inexperienced banker or a technical person doing that. Remember when California EDD sued Bank of America, what, about almost 2 years ago during the pandemic? I was there at Bank of America. I can tell you exactly by name who the human error was that shut down over $4 million worth of cards and so forth.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that name right now. I'll say her first name, Kaylee. I'm not going to say her last name because I'm not throwing her under the bus. But just know that I will throw the company under the bus. Bank of America wasn't even behind that. A company called T-Tech was. So they put this young kid who's 23 years old, not trying to sound stereotype, but looks like she should be a swimsuit model or something, supposedly because she has a degree. They put her in charge. Within 2.5 weeks of her being in charge of me repeatedly arguing with her and warning her what was going to happen if she did certain things, all of a sudden everything collapsed for California EDD.
Yeah.
So yeah, human error, I do believe that part. My question is, was it intentional or not?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the craziest thing in the world, y'all. Direct deposit is something that we really shouldn't, that they shouldn't really play with. Like Tony has mentioned, like I mentioned before, some people are living paycheck to paycheck. And if they didn't get that check early, a whole lot of other shit is going to happen. And we're not just talking. The banks can waive fees. The banks will waive fees. But think about if you had something else going on. Maybe you floated a check at Walmart or something. Maybe you floated a check somewhere, and now you got to pay that as well as the feedback to whoever you paid where it bounced. Now, some companies might be okay with it. But for those of us who live paycheck to paycheck, we also know that it's being poor is expensive. Just so you folks know. I know it seems weird. It's a very weird situation, but being poor is expensive.
Maybe the better way to tell them why that analogy comes to turn for people in that position. When you're poor and you're trying to catch up everything and you're trying to build a life, that's the expensive part. You know, especially once you go in debt. Now you're in debt and you have to catch that up. So, you know, that's why it's so expensive being poor. It's like, where the hell am I supposed to catch up?
Yes, exactly. But If you've been affected by this, let us know. I've been hearing a lot of grumbling from folks who have Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customer service sucks. Wells Fargo don't really give a fuck about people, if you ask me. But hey, who is it?
Just
What is it?
just 2 months ago, you and Candy covered the fact that they were playing with people's money again at Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is the
Yes,
last bank I would trust.
yes, exactly. And
I'd
I don't
rather go
trust a
back to
lot of.
PayPal.
I don't trust a lot of these banks. But hey, we got to bank with them. But I do, from what I read this morning, they did say everything is clear and everything should be falling down. What I didn't like was the banks were not giving people money. They were paying off checks. You know what I mean? When they were getting things, it was presented. But imagine going to the grocery store on Friday, which happens to be the first Friday of the month, and you're trying to get groceries because you felt you got paid. Or just think about you didn't get paid. Now there's a whole lot of other shit going on. It's just it's sad. Um, a lot of people were affected. I don't give a fuck. 1% is 3 million people. That's 3 million people who couldn't do anything. They couldn't pay bills. They didn't get paid. You know what I mean? And
I
yes,
would, I want
go
to see
ahead.
the demographics. I want to see where these 3 million people, who they were, how
Mm-hmm,
they were affected. I want to see the demographics. I'm curious. Do you think
mm-hmm.
it affected any wealthy people? I bet you it didn't.
It didn't. I'm sure it didn't.
And
and,
that's
and
what
I'm
pisses me
sure.
off. And that's where my conspiracy theory comes from.
Yeah,
Who are you attacking? Because I guarantee you it wasn't the wealthy.
yeah. And some people have the money, y'all, but we can make it. We can. We're speculating that those 3 million people live paycheck to paycheck, but unfortunately, you got to understand, 3 million people. Let's say only 2% of them could afford not to miss that check.
Right.
It's the beginning of the month. Even even if you're not living paycheck to paycheck, you have to drop that rent. So that's how it is, y'all. You got to pay your mortgage. You got to pay your rent, no matter how it is. If you are affected by it, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think. Um, next thing up here, y'all, is before we you want to get to the OnlyFans story, huh? Let's go with the OnlyFans story, y'all. Brianna Coppage, the teacher at the St. Clair High School in Missouri, she was fired for having an OnlyFans page. Um, she said that somebody at the school found out. Now she's at a high school. They said the students could have found out, but the only reason this started getting around to the students is because they knew. From what I've read, she didn't post her face, she didn't use her real name, and she didn't advertise to the kids at school. Um, she was suspended at first. She did resign due to the fact that it had caused a whole lot of shit in her life. Um, but at one point, she said she made almost $1 million. She was doing
Hmm.
it to pay off her. She was doing it to pay off her student debt, as well as her car and other things. At this point, she has done it. But let's be clear, she's a teacher. And in my opinion, teachers shouldn't have to take a second job to make ends meet.
Right. I agree.
But it leads to the question, I feel she would have had to love teaching to still stay in what she was, to still teach after what she was doing on OnlyFans. Now, why do you think she kept her job if she was making so much money? I think it was for benefits. I would do it for benefit.
Well, yeah, because as an independent contractor, regardless, you have to buy your own benefit. And with $1 million, you shouldn't complain about buying your own benefits.
Yeah.
However, that's where I have to question, where is her morals and ethics truly at? Maybe she
Mm-hmm.
really did enjoy teaching and changing lives, that
Mm-hmm.
even $1 million could not drive her away from that. If that's the case, then the school lost a good one. But
Yes.
you really got to question this. I mean, first of all, you and I both have known people in the industry. Nobody making no $1 million on no fucking OnlyFans in a single
Yeah,
year, unless you're what's her name, the one that pretty much messed up and changed the way the OnlyFans paid out, Bella or something, the actress.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
besides her, or someone like say Selena Gomez or something like that, I don't see anybody in the world, not even some of the biggest porn stars, making $1 million on a single OnlyFans account. I'm sorry,
Yes,
I just really
I
don't
get
trust
it
it.
too. I question it, but I also think about it like this too. Once it got out, everybody was probably trying to get in there. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if she made a lot of money, it came in on the tail end. You know what I mean?
Right? Nope, I agree.
All right. I know this is not normal, y'all,
Mm.
but my daughter is having a health crisis. I have to go. Tony, if you want to stop the show right now, that's fine. But I do have to talk to my daughter, y'all. I apologize for cutting this short. We will be back next week, or I'll be back next week, y'all. But I do have to run. What do you want to do, Tony?
Well, I know that you know most of these stories. I don't even know the stories, like the backbone of them and so forth. So again, folks, we're sorry about this, but I'm sure most of you know family comes first. So
Yes, family is
we're just
always
gonna have to
comes
stop
first, y'all. Um, and before I get out here, like I always say, make sure you folks are calling. If you folks are in any issues, make sure you dial 988. You call and text that, y'all. Make sure if you're in an abusive situation, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline or 911. That number is 800-799-7233. Once again, y'all, we are the Aging Potheads. We are here every Wednesday about 7ish around on Facebook. I do apologize for cutting the show short tonight, but I do have to do with a family emergency, y'all. We do have Thanksgiving coming up soon. We'll get some announcements out for that. So y'all, like I always say, meditate, medicate.